Japan quality. Yokohama, your tire.
Michel Nukia, the winner of race 1, said to me that he didn't feel he had a good pace, and maybe they need to change the setup a little bit to have a better pace in this race. And for sure, it looked like James Nash was the faster of the two drivers, isn't it, in that first race? Wonder if they've done anything to make this Chevrolet faster.
Yeah, Nukia obviously started on the front, finished on the front. He's now starting in 6th place, and you are going to need some quite aggressive pace to get through. I mean, there's a lot of the quick boys all now starting in the top 10, so I would imagine this race is going to be a little bit more frenetic than we saw the first one. But if his pace wasn't there, it's only because they're trying to be safe on the tyres. You know, we lost all bar 3 front-wheel drives in race 2 last year, so it's not as warm as last year, but you know, it's still dry, the circuit's still the same, it hasn't changed. It's still an ultra-fast corner, ultra-fast circuit, shall I say, with which is quite abrasive. But it's going to be interesting how hard these Hondas push when they got the Chevys breathing down their exhaust pipes. You know, I still put my money on Muller to come through for a good podium. I always think he's like, when you're out there, he's like the boogeyman coming after you. But Tarquini's, we got the standing start. Tarquini's also always lightning out the starts, and just looking at Montero now, he's got his starts together as well. I think they've been working on the starts in the Honda camp, and it's certainly paying off.
Just a quick bit of news from down in the pit lane. Neil Hudson down there for Touring Car Times has sent me a message saying no O'Young. We saw Daste is not taking the start either, and they're still working on Valente's car, so he may start from the end of the pit lane. But Daryl O'Young was worried that they wouldn't be able to shut the door, and therefore if he went out he'd be disqualified, and that seems to have been what has happened.
Oh, that's a shame, isn't it? Daryl just hasn't had the luck running with him at Rail Motorsport. His engineer Simon Cumberbatch missed his flight in the week, and so he was late getting here. It just seems like everything that's going wrong is going to go wrong. And then the driver penalties, which he got included in, felt he shouldn't have been included in. It was a bit of a wrong place, wrong time for the poor guy. So yeah, it would have been nice for him to get out and try and get a solid result in the second race.
What was very interesting, talking in the pit lane and the paddock before the races and talking to some of the team managers about the penalties that we had, and they actually had a Touring Car Commission meeting last Tuesday, and lots of the issues that we've experienced this weekend were actually brought up in that meeting without even any hindsight, and therefore we might see changes in the way that penalties are applied in the future. It was brought up that if you have a technical infringement, why do you keep your position for race 2, but you get penalised for just race 1? If it's a qualifying infringement, one of the questions, of course, applied to the Honda team, who are taking their positions at the front of the field. OK, it wasn't a performance penalty, but it doesn't invite drivers, if you want to be playing naughty, to rate a completely illegal car, get a decent qualifying position, and then just take a penalty for race 1.
Yeah, Ben, I mean, just to first of all, the Honda wasn't a completely illegal car. It was a technical, almost misjudgment of way of parts being molded. So but I hear what you say, but the problem is you're asking me. I'm a driver and I'm on the team side, and drivers and teams will see a completely different argument to the FIA officials we've got here. You know, you can understand a rule's a rule, but a lot of the cases it's how you interpret the rule, and a lot of the drivers, they wouldn't have done their qualifying thing yesterday if they thought they were going to be interpreted that way and pick up penalties. But the FIA didn't like it, didn't like what they were doing, and so they'll know next time. But it's still an open book on how you interpret everything.
Another hole beside Coronel. That would have been for Daste's car there. So we do seem to have lost 2 BMWs with Young and Daste. Whether Hugo Volante, who should have started at the back of the field anyway, whether he will actually take the start, we'll find out very shortly. The car, from my eyes, just looked like a lot of carbon fibre damage and not a huge amount of structural damage. The radiators are set so far back that actually you can have quite a hefty hit like that and still just about survive. The radiators clearly being the first part that will be damaged of the engine.
Yeah, just looking at the grid now, 15 seconds left to go. James Nash is the lone Chevrolet in the top 5, with 3 Hondas and a Seat breathing right down his neck.
And we saw how strong they were in race 1. And you say it wasn't easy, but from the outsider perspective, from a layman's perspective, like me, it looked very easy being in a Chevrolet and flying like that.
Yeah, I think Nash definitely had the pace to win race 1. Poor old Darrell. It's even changed already. Yeah, James definitely had the speed to win race 1. It was just, it was Nokia's Kylan Gunning age. Managed to hang on for the driver's car. Right place, right time, right line. Now, a lot of it, because we got the standing start, when we spoke to Rob warming up, clutch is going to be also important, trying to warm this up. But we'll go to Rob Huff now.
So, standing start in this race. Again, lots of weaving left and right, warming the tyres, keeping the tyres clean, warming the brakes up, getting the clutch up to temperature. Quite a complicated start procedure for a standing start in a touring car. Got a few problems in this race on my car. Unfortunately, where we got hit across the chicane by a Chevrolet in race 1, it broke our flat floor, so for sure we've lost some aerodynamics through the high-speed corner. And that was one of the places we were really quick, so expect to see the car moving around a little bit through there. It's going to be quite a slow warm-up lap, as we can see Nash taking his time. Not quite as slow as qualifying yesterday, but not far off. Starting start, very difficult, very tricky. You don't want any wheel spin, but at the same time you don't want to bog down too much. So it's about getting everything right, and if you get it perfect, maybe 3 out of 10 times, you're doing well. Interesting, the Seat, quite a bit easier to get off the line, or more consistent to get off the line than I ever found the Chevrolet. Chevrolet very difficult, and my old friend Alex McDowell starting alongside me on the grid. So the last few times we've started next to him on the grid, he's not made the best of starts. So fingers crossed we'll get a good start and the jumping place off the line. Obviously going to be very difficult with the 2 Chevys behind me, as we saw in race 1. Very, very quick. About 3/4 of the way down the back straight, they can pretty much tow past anything. The aerodynamics on that car, allowing it to be that way, makes life very difficult. But I've also got 2 Chevys in front of me, so if I can hang on to those guys, we can hopefully try and defend a little bit from behind. Just making sure, again, start maps are in the right position on the steering wheel. And yeah, we're all set for the start, guys, so back to you.
Fantastic stuff from Rob Huff, and mirroring exactly what you said, Matt, about the clutch. Interesting that he talks about the Chevrolet being a difficult car to get off the line. He's mentioned Alex McDowell, but the guys that are new into this car, Tom Chilton and James Nash, have also really struggled to get a good start out of their car, and James obviously on pole position.
Yeah, Tarquini was always a lightning starter in the Seat last year, and we were putting it down to the car, but he's still that lightning quick, and obviously things he's learned with the Seat he's taken across to Honda as well, and they're all doing well. But I would imagine Huffy's actually secretly going to try and leapfrog McDowell and Nokia, and he needs to do that to try and get a jump on Muller, who's going to be coming behind him.
And thankfully for all the front-wheel drive cars, not a BMW in sight to threaten them. And you'll see a BMW normally jump 3 or 4 positions, but not today. It's not going to threaten the front of the grid. You've got Coronel and Bernani, and Bernani's got a clear gap at least onto the back of those RML Chevrolets. Just waiting for the green flag at the back of the field. A few cars down, a few gaps on the grid. No Daste and no Darrell Young. The lights are now lighting up, and when they go out, we are racing here. A little bit of a creep from Norbert Michaelis on the left-hand side. Not a very good start from Norbert Michaelis, and Rob Huff has done exactly what you said, Matt. He's split the two Chevrolets. Ivan Muller, I don't think, got a very good start either, and Rob is in the centre of a four-car train there, right in the middle of the pack. Michaelis is going to take the lead of the race, though, ahead of James Nash. Thiago in third, then Gabrielli, then Pepe Oriola. A bit of a mistake there from Michael Nukia, and that forced Alex McDowell over the gravel.
Well, both McDowell and Chilton through the gravel, so I hope they didn't pick up either of them didn't pick up any damage.
Oriola and Rob Huff go side by side. Rob on the outside line, the longer way round, and here comes Michael Nukia with that fast Chevrolet engine. Now, Chevrolet versus Honda at the front. Let's see who's got the better engine. If you ask Honda, they'll say Chevrolet, no doubt about it. Can James Nash find a way through?
Oh, you can see the Chevrolet of Nukia just draft past Huffy.
Well, and James Nash is in the lead of the race. Incredibly easy for him to get past Norbert Michaelis there at the front of the field, and there was no question really that just flat out speed of the Bamboo Chevrolet really good. A bit of a lock up at the front of the field as the temperature in the tyres not quite what they should. So Nukia is now ahead of Huff, and here comes Ivan Muller looking to the left-hand side. No way through there.
Yeah, I think that with Nash and Michelitz, it just bears out what the Honda drivers have been saying for the last two races about engines and the Chevy power, and they've been saying that they just need a little bit more in that department.
Yeah, and Rob Huff looked like he was very slow off the chicane there as well, and maybe concerned with Ivan Muller getting a better run, and Ivan indeed is side by side with him coming into the chicane, but Rob has the racing line. Can he break it a little later, protect that line? Yes, he can. Good stuff from Rob Huff. And these two, of course, knowing each other incredibly well. They know not only on-track racing, but inside the team and inside the race trucks when they're discussing races for many years at Chevrolet. And if you ask Ivan Muller, Rob has learned everything from him.
Everything he knows, but not everything Ivan knows. Ivan will be claiming. But the Seat's obviously got a slight weight advantage over the Chevy at the moment. So Huffy will be trying to use that, but you can see Muller pick up the slipstream. Huffy's going to make him go the long way round.
And just ahead of them, Pepe Oriola trying to go around the outside of Gabriele Tarquini, who hasn't had a very good run off the Nockstein either. And it looks like he's just going to breeze past as Ivan has got past Rob. Pepe Oriola goes round the outside of Gabriele Tarquini and moves his Seat up into fourth position.
Just, we could hear the braking of Chilton back in the pits.
Yeah.
We could hear the braking of Tarquini in the Honda there, and it sounds fantastic with the popping and banging under braking.
Tom Chilton was involved in that first lap skirmish over the gravel, so potentially has picked up some damage as he hit those tyres going back onto the track, and there's a bit of a rubber mark on the left front as well. So poor old Tom Chilton not having a strong weekend yet again, down into 20th position. We're missing 3 cars, so Valent didn't get out on circuit. On board with Tom Coronel, staring at the back of Rob Huff with that BMW. BMW not particularly well represented in this race, with Daste and Darrell Young not in the race, and Engsler and Eng at the back of the field.
James Nash's first clear lap puts in a big lap, fastest lap of the weekend so far in race trim. So he's going to try and make a break, but he doesn't seem to be able to shake Michelitz just at the minute.
Now, once again, Chevrolet versus Honda. Michael Nukia has to be going around the outside as they head towards turn 9. And Ivan Muller, you can hear the engine note change as we switch from one onboard to the other. What a massive slipstream he had from both cars. And he goes past Gabriele Tarquini. Can he find a way through past Nukia? Not as yet, although Nukia is still carrying that damage. Now he dives to the inside at 10. Decides against it.
Wow, I'll tell you what, that is so frustrating as a driver. Gabriele would have had his foot buried into the bulkhead, looking for every last little bit of horsepower, and to be passed by not one, but 2 Chevrolets in a straight line is very frustrating.
Of course, the compensation weight that is laid in on that Honda is a combination of the 3 best times from the last 3 meetings. So if they haven't been particularly quick here, that will be taken into consideration when we go to Moscow, and maybe they'll lose a little bit of weight. Huffy defending from Alex McDowell, who again didn't have a very good start, and Gabriele Tarquini's Honda firing flames out that exhaust.
Now, what Tarquini needs to do is see if he can drop on the back of Muller and use the slipstream, the whole Muller's punching in the air to try and go with him.